The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen. Open for daily breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of our West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. Welcome back, everybody, to the Doghouse Racing League. This is Simtrax Broadcasting coming to you live here at the Wide Technology Raceway. Joining alongside me tonight here is Douglas Ross, and we have a doozy for you here tonight. At least 120 laps, 3 sets of tires, and no faster pairs here with the Doghouse Racing League. Qualifying is underway, and Douglas, man, what a treat we're going to have here tonight. Talk to me a little bit about this 1.25-mile track.
Definitely the WWT Raceway, or Worldwide Technology, whatever way people want to say it. Definitely an entertaining track. I mean, I think this is the first time this year that the NASCAR Next Gen cars have actually came to this track. I know we're used to seeing the trucks take advantage of the whole entire 1.25 mile track, but with these Next Gen cars, they're absolutely killing it when it comes to lap times. And on here, most definitely, it looks like that one of our normal drivers, Jonathan Jennings, is wasting no time at all, and he definitely seemed to have gotten used to the track.
Yeah, 34-38 right now during qualifying. During practice, actually, Kevin Powell was only off by 20 thousandths of a second off the back bumper of Jonathan Jennings. And Andrew St. Coeur was sitting there in that third, fourth position area, which I'm sure B-Mac out there in the chat is rooting on right now. Andrew St. Coeur and the Twisted Axel Racing team, seeing if we can get Andrew St. Coeur a little faster here. Right now he's trying to log his first lap here, 5th place, so not a bad start from our points leader here tonight. And we'll talk a little bit about that while we have the chance here. Let's look at our championship standings here, where Andrew St. Coeur sits up the top of the chart with 824. Kevin Thompson, another Twisted Axel Racing team, hitting 811. Christopher Simon, Jacob Reeves, and Jonathan Jennings, unusually low here for him, as he is, I believe, commanded and conquered here at the Doghouse Racing League, the Truck Series. So he has taken away the championship there already, and Jonathan Jennings starting down in the 5th spot with Kevin Powell. Now, Elite Southern Motorsports, I think is kind of getting a kind of a big wake-up call here, seeing Twisted Axle Racing has actually changed everything here. These guys were kind of rolling around almost in the same exact spot, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and now this is a 1-2 punch here at the end. Now, one race could flip-flop this completely around with start and parks, things like that, you know, drivers not being able to make it back out onto the track, and just the consistency has to continue. Even if Andrew St. Coeur doesn't win here tonight, he's got to have a good placement. He's got to go out there. He's got to be fast. He's got to get a decent qualifying. If he can lead a lap to get an extra 5 points, that would be exactly what he would need here tonight. But he is going to look like he's going to be starting back in the 7th position. So he's got a lot of work to do here to get back to the front. Drivers are going ahead and start getting ready to grid up here at the track. And we're pretty excited to see how this is going to line up. Jonathan Jennings and Joey Beck will be starting in the front row. Justin McMahon sitting 3rd next to Kevin Powell. Starting row number 3 will be Kevin Thompson and Christopher Simon. Andrew St. Coeur starting right behind his teammate there, starting 7th next to Hunter Simpson. Glad to see Hunter Simpson back. I know he hasn't been able to race a whole bunch, but he was able to show up out here tonight, along with Tyler Mollett and Daniel Wilkerson. And I got to admit, Wilkerson is pretty confident and pretty consistent with top 10 starts. He's going to get another start here tonight in that position. Gary Clune starting 11th next to Bill Gentry, and rotating on through to the final drivers here of the night. Mike Samia, Nicholas Atwood sitting 13th and 14th. Colt Curry, I believe a driver I've seen a couple of times, not too many times, but he's back out here next to Connor Darnell. Starting in row number 9 will be Eric Warman, and next to Michael Giverson. Try not to get that too many times, with Stephen Buonamo 19th. Tim Henderson 20th, and finishing out the remainder of the field, it looks like Mike Leftwich all the way back here in the back. Notice the number 60. Not very fast here tonight. He's going to try to see if he can take the Shoney's Racing team back to the front here. And let's talk a little bit here, Douglas, about our race info here tonight and what we've got going on. And really, there's one thing that stands out pretty big here to me tonight. 120 laps, 3 sets of tires in the pit, 100% fuel limit, and no fast repairs. Right now, that 105-degree track temperature. Next-gen cars, we're known for almost no traction on turn exit, but okay on turn entry. You know, what does this 105 degrees on the track, the 9 miles an hour wind, 85 in the air? Talk to me a little bit about it.
Well, I can certainly tell you this. When it came to those points, you actually did hit it right on the mark. A lot of drivers aren't going to really be practically struggling with entrance because they'll have enough grip level where they'll at least come on the entrance. But it all depends on what your throttle control is going off of the exit, because this isn't in particular a racetrack where you got to maintain your throttle control too much and you can just lose control of this car. So it's all about maintaining the throttle control, and you really can't get into it unless you have heat in those tires, which I think at 105 degrees it may take a little longer for them to heat up.
Yeah, I figure 105 degrees, man, be nice and tacky, knowing where we are. This is so difficult. I would almost say this would almost relate kind of a swap between Darlington and New Hampshire. A very flat track, but still egg-shaped here is what we're going to be looking at. And it's kind of interesting to see as we'll kind of pop it up. You see how normally turn 1 and 2 on Darlington are the bigger, wider ones, and then it's skinnier between 3 and 4. This is almost the exact opposite. But the flatness, there's almost no banking here, so drivers are going to have one heck of a time trying to figure out how to get this going here. But Jonathan Jennings in the 91 Chevrolet Caterpillar machine looks like he's going to be rocking a new paint scheme here tonight. Let's see how we can get it going here at the beginning of this race. Green flag is out. Fantastic jump once again here by the 91 machine. Out front, Joey Beck's going to be chasing him here, but turn entry is going to be crucial. Right now, Jonathan Jennings able to squeak by about half a car length in front of Joey Beck. And right now the battle for third is 1 and 2 have scurried away. Kevin Powell is battling alongside Justin McMahon. Now McMahon has been hot as of late, finally getting himself up to the front and getting some top 5 finishes here. But right now, Douglas, this lap 1 pretty sketchy. We got a few drivers flying toward the walls here already.
Yes, definitely. We do have a lot of drivers somewhere in the back of the field. They were starting to struggle towards the wall as we are seeing a battle between Michael Samia and Gary Clune. It looks like they finally figured that out. We also have a battle here for, it looks like, the number 6 spot, and that's between Andrew St. Coeur and Hunter Simpson. Simpson right now catching the wall a little bit. Looks like they'll be getting straightened out. And we have to remind the fans at home, because you mentioned Justin McMahon. For those of you that didn't tune in to us last week, Justin McMahon was last week's winner at the Talladega Superspeedway, so looks like he'll definitely be definitely on a hunt for a second one in a row.
I think somebody was hinting at 2/1000ths of a second is what he won by over top of Jacob Reeves there at Talladega. Normally, some people don't think the super speedway racing can be very fun and having some. Oh, McMahon is around. Into the grass, the number 24 machine right now down into 16th, and no caution is out. I think they're going to go ahead and keep this one going. Don't know how much damage occurred here from Justin McMahon. We'll see if we can find what happened to McMahon here from the top. I saw the tires lock up, and they tried to see if he could save it here. Look at the 93 maneuverability here. Away he goes. Yeah, just tried to bring it on back there, Douglas. Not looking too good, but he was able to keep the car in one piece.
Definitely looks like and it was that tricky area, like we were saying, off of the exit. It looks like he was getting loose, just coming right into the exit. So it's probably just too much throttle control. But there's still plenty of race to go around. Justin McMahon's not out of this yet. There's still plenty of rebounding to continue going.
Yeah, coming off that win, you know, he's got to be feeling all sorts of confidence as he comes here to the track. But what I think would be a huge confidence killer is when you're only 5 laps into this race and almost a 1 3/4 of a second gap between first and second, Jennings and Kevin Powell. Right now, Jennings is driving away with this one, looking off the back of his car here. Kevin Powell looks like he's going to be chasing him, and Powell actually setting down some of the fastest lap times here on the track with a 34.60. And that was his last lap time, so definitely the fresh air is paying off. But the distance between these two guys here, as we take kind of a bird's eye view, looking at our leader heading into turn number 1, and Kevin Powell right behind him here, trying to see if he can run him down. I don't see any battles happening as of yet right now from our angle here, as Kevin Powell has got to figure out how to reel him in. But man, how do you get it where the drivers are on a flat track? There are multiple race lines that you can go, so they say. I know about half a car length up away from that white line as the preferred area. No battles as of yet. I mean, we're only on lap 6. We got a guy ahead on the lead by 2 seconds. This is going to kind of trade up a little bit when it comes to fuel mileage and pit stops here later in the race.
It's most definitely. And I can tell you this, when it comes to the Doghouse series, I mean, these drivers definitely have some sort of strategy whatsoever, because when it comes to strategy, no matter what track we went to so far, the strategy doesn't disappoint when it comes to a lot of these drivers. So they probably have something planned before the beginning of the race. And like I said, one of the advantages is going to be the clean air, and that is one thing that Kevin Powell does have to his advantage right now, is clean air. But as we're talking about that, Jonathan Jennings is just pulling away farther and farther, and he's just maintaining the distance. I think he found the line. I think the only thing that Kevin Powell can do is just try to find the preferred line that would help him.
So tough for some of these other drivers to try to see if they can combat how well he is pulling away. I mean, if we kind of keep an eye here on the top 10, the difference between the lead and 10th place is about a 7-second gap. Nicholas Atwood being our driver sitting back here in that 10th spot in his Chevrolet. How do you not count this down and out? You can say, all right, well, there's a chance I'm probably not going to win the race here. So now you just battle for position. Somebody might be battling for position back here with Gary Clune. Now, Clune ended up in a little bit of trouble in the last race, ended up getting a couple banger rounds there, and he was able to fight his way back to the front, got hammered around again there on the last lap, and didn't finish exactly where he wanted to be. But 13th position is what he's trying to get now, right, instead of having a heck of a time with Daniel Wilkerson, who started in that 10th position. 78 Dell machine, not looking to give up that spot just as of yet. The Chevrolet here on the inside being trailed by the Ford on the outside of Gary Clune. Now, Clune's definitely taking a chance and picking and choosing where he wants to be here, but I think he finally gets the breakaway and is able to calm this down just a little bit and get the more of the preferred line about 2.5 car lengths up the track. And we are seeing a lot of new drivers out here, and I gotta admit, it's good to see new drivers out here kind of coming out here and giving it a whirl here. But I gotta admit, Douglas, this would not be the track I'd want to try.
No, I definitely don't think it would be one of my in particular tracks either, especially with the way you slow down in the corners, maintaining the brakes and everything. I honestly don't think it would be a my in particular track either, so no harm in that.
Yeah, well, at least a good way to give it a shot. You're going to learn something today. All right, taking a look all the way back here at Connor Darnell. First time I've seen him out here, and we'll rotate up to Mike Leftwich. Remember, he was just about dead last year in the start. Rotated up to 17th now, but hey, good, better than starting in the end already. Chuck Fletcher out there, appreciate you joining me here. We'll see how this is going out here on the track. He is checking in with us here tonight, and I'm sure he is getting locked and loaded for the big show here at the end of the race. Right now, we are missing Jacob Reeves tonight. He is out there doing prelims for the Firecracker 400 he's lining up for, and hopefully we wish him the best and the McConey setup shop machine to finish a decent way out there on the track. But we'll stick here at the Wide Technology Center on Mike Samia. We're keeping an eye on him right now, moving in that 9th position. And Kevin Thompson was one of the drivers we saw getting way loose, actually heading through 3 and 4. I think it pinched him there a little bit, and he was heading up toward the wall early in the run, I think about the first or the second lap. And Mike Samia here is now putting that 21 machine under fire. And Kevin Thompson, I believe, might have just the better lane here as they push on through.
It's most definitely. And I can tell you this, Patrick, another driver we haven't even talked about yet is the guy currently sitting in spot number 3, which is the 6 of Joey Beck, having a really, really good run, qualifying in the 3rd position, and right now not too far behind from the 93 of Kevin Powell. So Joey's trying to make some noise tonight, make something happen, and right now he's doing a good job at it.
Yeah, not too shabby here by Joey Beck. Unfortunately, he is down 1 position from where he originally started. We're being led right now by 2 Chevrolets here in the front with Jonathan Jennings and Kevin Powell breaking away, and you got to give it to Kevin Powell there, out there in front and actually starting to make separation from the guy in 3rd. I'm wondering if Hunter Simpson's going to be able to drum something up here and see if he can nail a 3rd place roll here, but I think a little trouble back here from Tyler Millette. Uh-oh. Looks like a little disconnect. Tyler Millette and the number 94 might be down and out here. which means a couple of these other drivers are going to move up. Andrew St. Coeur to 5th, Christopher Simon 6th position. And that's going to move Mike Samia to 8th, Nicholas Atwood 9th, and Eric Warman there sitting in that 10th position. A couple of people out there in the chat with Thomas saying, I know like 4 new guys have ran this track not long ago in another league. So, okay, that's not too bad. At least this doesn't seem to be a sketchy track for them. They should feel confident with the car and the track. I would just be concerned with the drivers. Now, Andrew St. Coeur won, Jonathan Jennings and Kevin Powell. I mean, just a few of the elite drivers that are here in the Doghouse Racing League, and now, they might not allow you to run your most preferred line. Now, they are very, very tough out here, and especially with these open setups, you're going to learn a lot out here tonight about how to set your car up and really what makes it the best here tonight. Now, I've got to admit, the way Jonathan Jennings' car is running here tonight with a comfortable 2.5-second lead here, this is huge right now out of that machine. But we've seen a lot of times that 91 Chevrolet get out front. He's able to get, push along. Might burn his tires up early. Might end up with too much fuel consumption, but that just doesn't seem to be the case here, as he is just rocking around this track with just absolutely no remorse for anybody behind him as he continues to lead this race.
It's most definitely, and I can even tell you this right now, I mean, we can't count anybody out from second on back either, because as the green flag pit stops are going to come in, the strategy's going to come in, just that, I have a feeling, is going to change the outcome of the race.
Yeah, taking a little look here on the inside of Jonathan Jennings' machine. I'm interested to see any kind of shifting pattern. All right, so we are touching 5th here tonight. Now, I'm noticing the amount, well, actually, the lack of steering here. You see how little his input is? So, yeah, interesting enough. And, when you have to put that little input, that, so little steering into this, Douglas, what does that mean, for some of our viewers out there, what, kind of what we're looking at here?
Basically, I mean, yeah, you do see that Jonathan Jennings right now is like really doing not that much steering, but that's just because it's basically has to do with the steering offset. I mean, some drivers can end up running a negative steering offset where they don't have to do like 0 to no turning whatsoever, but a lot of drivers want to actually get to turn that because some of them aren't even used to the wheel really being all crooked towards the left. I'm used to doing that a couple of times myself depending on the track, but it really all depends on how the driver is. Like, we see Jonathan Jennings not really turning that much. I don't think Kevin Powell's doing it that much. I think a lot of these drivers are pretty much on the exact same thing, just trying to steer as little as possible.
Yeah, which does mean less tire wear. Once we start adding more steering ratio. I used to race a 16-to-1 back in the older cars, not the next gens as much, is you try to loosen that steering wheel up. That way you're not having to provide so much input. But word through the grapevine is some of these drivers say Jonathan Jennings actually makes less. He actually runs it so low that a slight touch of the wheel will jerk this car around something fierce. So you see him just barely nudging it here, and it causing the car to turn. Now, normally that just applies more tire wear to the car, having to make the wheels turn less. And I know for some odd reason that doesn't quite make sense, but it sort of does when you're turning the wheel a lot more and the steering is going to be sloppy. So what you're looking for is a lot more turning angle out of the steering wheel, and that's allowing the wheels to turn much slower so you can get the angle you're looking for, rather than turning it a little bit and then the tires are moving so much faster. You can overcorrect, you can turn too much, and that just causes you to burn up your tires earlier in the run. But I've got to admit, we're still 2.5 seconds ahead of Kevin Powell, and I guarantee you, right now the number one Chevrolet is kind of sandbagging it here with a 35.45 his last lap. It is still faster than most of the guys out here on the track. Okay, to get that kind of popped up for you guys. As you can see right now, I mean, he picked up speed in that last run, but he's still faster than anybody else here on the track. He is just, it's kind of odd because the way he set up this car here, Douglas, he is cruising. It doesn't seem like he's not digging, he's not pulling, he's not trying to drive away with this. He's just kind of doing his thing, man, just coming on down and rolling around this track with almost with elegance, man. This is so easy for him. and he's making it work.
Well, definitely, I can tell you this, and he probably even did a couple of weeks of practice either by himself or with his teammates, because with these in particular cars, you got to do a couple of days of training, because these aren't in particularly like the Gen 6 cars that we normally race back in a couple of years. These cars have some certain technology in them where you got to do like a couple of days of training just to get used to them, because these things are not what we used to race.
It seems Tyler Mollett in the 94 Chevrolet has returned back to the track. He is down a few laps here, at least 4. I bet you he had a disconnect out there. Douglas, let me know if I am correct here, if he did have a slight packet loss or something here that caused that 94 machine to kind of, be rolling around there between 12th and 15th, and then all of a sudden just blink out, and he's gone for 4 laps. I'm hoping he was able to return back. He has, but he's going to need a slew of cautions here in a league that hardly gets a caution at all to get back onto the lead lap. So we'll see if he can tumble around and get back to the front. Speaking of working to get back to the front, at least to the top 10, Wilkerson trying to run down Nicholas Atwood here, but he's got a good bit way to go, about 0.7 of a second to catch that 19 machine that's in front of him. The 19 being held up there by Mike Samia. Samia cut him off there on that last turn between 3 and 4, and that is allowing Wilkerson to make up some distance here, about 0.2 of a second. So we might see a battle on our hands here for the 9th, 10th position when Daniel Wilkerson gets caught up.
Most definitely. And another driver that I think is definitely trying to make up ground is Justin McMahon in the 24 after getting loose. And it looks like he's getting loose again, just having problems just getting control of that car. But I think Justin McMahon is just trying to get back to where he was. But if he's going to get there, he's got a long way to go.
With no fast repairs here, he is probably driving a pretty damaged race car. I've got to really give him a hand here. That sitting 13th with a damaged race car, clipping that inside wall and getting loose, the sliding takes its toll on the tires. It's hard to work the heat back out of him when you do that. He is still turning and burning here. 13th position for him. Not too bad. It's heartbreaking, though, seeing that he originally started there up in 3rd. And now he's going to have just such a hill to climb. I think a big adjustment is being made between him and his crew chief of what adjustment to make when they come down pit. Does he, lower the tire pressure on the left rear so it'll stick? Does he try to get a couple rounds on the track bar to see if he can get this thing to rotate? Because for some reason, it's like right about mid-turn, his car turns into a cinder block and tries to ride up the track. So he has got to kind of see if he can offset it here. I've got to admit, with such a fast qualifying time, you hate seeing what it's doing to him here for the race.
Most definitely, and trying to conserve the tires is one thing. And a key fact I will actually tell you about the tires: these cars are actually running on a different diameter tire. When we were racing the Gen 6 cars that we raced back then, we were talking about a 15-inch diameter on tires. With these next gen cars, we're talking an 18-inch diameter, which means the tire wear is definitely going to be different. They're going to wear out a lot quicker, and we're already seeing it right now.
Yuck. And I've got to admit, if there's one thing you want for a road course is less sidewall. It helps when it helps the tire not roll as much, but it does allow the tires to slick off. You were right, back in the old 15 style days, the tire, there was so much more tire. You were able to flatten them a lot more. You were able to get the tire to roll a lot more. You could have more compression on these more of these straightaways here, but it's not what you're going to see now in these next gens. It's not an opportunity that can be had. And the way these tires actually start coming apart here, Douglas, is you remember the old 15s, they used to chunk the rubber off. They leave the marbles or kind of the rubble toward the top of the track. These new 18-inch tires actually powder, and it causes almost like a silt on the track, which to me, that just seems like I'm putting a slick out there. They don't really burn and chunk off like they used to. They just kind of powder off on the edge, create a real fine material. And drivers are noticing that, if they can't get that rubber packed down back on the track with hot tires sooner, that's why you see guys running a little bit of a different line to see if they can pack it back onto the track. You may run into, half an inch of this silt from tires over the laps, and guys will end up spinning out, unfortunately.
Right, and unfortunately, that is the case because as these tires are going to go down, and you don't want necessarily this incident to happen, but I've seen it before happen with drivers that if you do spin out trying to avoid a wreck, you could very well blow these tires. I haven't seen it in the game in general happen to anybody, but I've seen it happen on regular NASCAR where if you spin out too many times, the tire is going to go, and when the tire is going to go, you can't control it.
And word through the grapevine on iRacing is they have considered tire failure, mechanical failures. They've considered pit road fumbles. So that, you know, like a tire man misses a lug. They've considered tossing that into the mix. And knowing me and my luck, man, I'd get out there and every single time, you know, I'd have a Denny Hamlin pit crew and I'd have a wheel fall off before I can get out of pit road. You know, just something always go wrong. You know, somebody goes and the fuel man didn't get the last gallon in there. And I mean, could you imagine that here in this league where Jonathan Jennings, you know, sometimes these guys win with 0.3 of a gallon of fuel. They can't do the burnout at the end of the race because there's no fuel left. So imagine, you know, the fuel man missing it or having that little piece of iRacing. That would be very odd. I would be a little concerned seeing how they would measure such a thing like that, you know, being able to kind of how they would compute that in there. But man, I'm sure these guys are just saying, you know what, just leave it alone. There's too much room for error doing something like that. And we'll see how that works out. Right now it's showing Kevin Powell is blanked out on us here. And I think we'll see if Kevin Powell returns here. I don't know where he's gone. Uh-oh. Do we have a packet loss on Kevin Powell? Right now we just lost our second place driver.
Oh.
Right now I'm showing him down in that 15th spot.
Right now, I'm not seeing any packet losses according to my screen.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. I was to say, do you see him out there from your spotter tower?
No, I do not.
Uh-oh. Yeah, right now I'm showing him dead on a doornail out there. Only drivers who have been down pit were actually Connor Darnell in the 90 machine, Tim Henderson in the 4, and Tyler Mollett. These guys at least came down once. Darnell may have had a problem earlier in the race. He came down lap 0, so he may have started from pit. Henderson came down pit on lap 20, and Tyler Mollett down on 14. And 14, you know, and lap 14 is where we noticed Tyler had the same thing here that Kevin Powell had. It just kind of dropped out on him, and he's going to have to redo here. I'm not quite sure what happened, but 33.9 laps is all he's done here, and that is going to be absolutely heartbreaking. For the Elite Southern Motorsports team, him getting knocked out here, and he's going to have to figure out how to come back. Seeing that I don't even see him here, I believe in Discord, so something has happened to our 93 machine.
I just got the notification now. He dropped due to packet loss.
Dude, that is awful. That is awful. So Kevin Powell, while he tries to fight this back, we'll see if we can grab Kevin Powell while he has the chance and see if he has a little bit of time. Kevin Powell, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, I definitely know. The thing about iRacing is there's no chance of some serious injury out there, but there's a chance of some packet loss or a dropout, which it seems both you and Tyler Mollett have suffered that here tonight. Man, I figure I would at least be able to get a little bit of insight here. How this track is holding up out here from somebody who was rolling around out there in second place.
The track is extremely loose. Entry's loose, so if you go in too fast, it wants to break free. And you give too much throttle on exit, you're going to go around as well.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that from Justin McMahon, our winner from the last race. He's at least got himself back up to 12th. Early spin out for him, no caution though. But that was the kind of thing as we're watching his car, and we're noticing the entry seems semi-okay, but the car seems to turn more into a brick. It's not wanting to rotate, and it just says, I don't know from the inside the car, you know, kind of if you're feeling the same thing or if you're, you know, what you're doing to combat something like that happening out there.
Yes, sir. So, going in on entry too fast, the car is like a brick. If you noticed on the first few laps of the race, I went straight to the top of the wall just from overdriving. So, the key to it is just slowing down, hitting your marks, and in this case, slow is fast.
Alrighty, well, taking a look here. What is our fuel load tonight? Isn't it 100%?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
But I do believe it was bumped up to 70 and 100 on plate races.
Okay, that's where I think I'm tripping up a little bit there. All right, plate races. Kevin Powell, giving me your shout-outs, man, because this is kind of a heartbreaker to see you kind of drop out like that, my man.
Yes, sir. I want to shout out you guys for the broadcast, all my teammates for the hard work we put in each week, and Doghouse Racing League as a whole, man, and all our sponsors out there.
Oh, yeah. All right, man. Well, good luck. Try to see if you can haul Bud around there. I'm sure you're on a full tank of fuel and a fresh set of tires, so try to get some of those lapped back.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Patrick.
Yep, not a problem. All right, Douglas, there's Kevin Powell, so I'm glad we were able to get a little peek in on him as he returns back to the race in the Celsius 93 Chevrolet. Pit stops have started happening for some, but not for all. Daniel Wilkerson working his way on down. A couple of other drivers have done so already. Joey Beck has come down. Justin McMahon has come down. And like I was saying, he is going to be making some big-time adjustments to that one. Michael Giberson came down on lap 39, and a few other drivers as we saw Kevin Powell coming down on lap 34. He's got a lot of work to do to get back onto the lead lap for him. But he's going to be got a little bit of a hiccup there as he's 5 laps down, at least one behind Tyler Mollett. But Jennings continuing to lead this race. Hunter Simpson sitting second, and Andrew St. Coeur from Twisted Axel Racing sitting third.
Yep, and then back in spot number 5 will be Kevin Thompson. 6 is Eric Warman. 7th right now is Nicholas Atwood. 8th is Michael Samia. 9th is Gary Clune, and Mike Leftwich is rounding out the top 10, but green flag pit stops are still going into play, so that will change. Right now, Jonathan Jennings, our leader, still has not pit, so as we can see right there, the strategy is coming into play. It looks like I talked too soon because I guess wrong. I thought he was coming down, but he isn't.
No, Jonathan Jennings, there's no way he's coming down. I think he's been sandbagging a little bit here for some fuel mileage. I think he was going to want to try and make this a 2-stop race if absolutely possible. If he's able to make it 45 here, that should sling him to 90. He's still going to have to stop again. But boy, does he get close to that wall. 91 Chevrolet continuing to lead this race by almost an 8-second gap. Taking a look out there in the chat. Thomas S., what is the fuel load for the race? I think we got that straightened out. I thought it was 100% actually only for the plate races. So 30% less, starting us at 70, is about how far these guys are going to be able to go. So really that fuel window ranges from about lap 40 to somewhere around that 51 area. And then we're going to see how far Jonathan Jennings has been working this along here to stay out onto the track. I'm noticing some of these other guys, they're not coming down either. Right now, St. Coeur, Kevin Thompson, and Gary Clune, all from Twisted Axel, have not come down, and they are all at least in the top 10. And Devin Hudgens out there in the number 84 machine. Saw you last night. They're at Atlanta Super Speedway. I appreciate you coming here and joining us here tonight at Simtrax Broadcasting. We're here with the Doghouse Racing League at the Wide Technology Raceway. Very difficult track here, and these guys are trying to figure out how to navigate through this with these open setup next-gen machines. Douglas, so far what we've seen, Jonathan Jennings got the right call here. What do you think the difference is?
If you mean come lap-wise, he's definitely got a couple of laps ahead of the game, because I'm still surprised he's out there. So big credit to Jonathan Jennings for right now expanding this out, but I would see him probably coming in by lap 50.
Well, knowing how much practice Jonathan Jennings does do, he doesn't just set up the car, he plays around with fuel mileage. How can he stay out there, and how can he maintain the amount of distance that he goes? But the amount of distance that he has been going, this 48 laps, and still has yet to come down and shows no sign of slowing down. Hunter Simpson is praying that he's going to come down soon because the tires are just about falling off. He's lost over 3/10 in the last lap or so. So Jennings continuing to stretch out this lead is absolutely ridiculous. Here's Hunter Simpson exiting 4 now. That's just the distance between these two. Let's see if we can get a track map up. You're looking for the number 1 on the exit of turn 2, and there's the number 2 getting ready to pass the 15th driver there entering 1. So about an entire backstretch here before these two meet each other. And I gotta admit, Jonathan Jennings has got the setup to beat here tonight.
Most definitely, and Jonathan Jennings is definitely right now the guy to beat. And I want to go back to the guy who was riding in spot number 2, which is our new second place runner. That is Hunter Simpson. But according to this, he's about I think 8 seconds back compared to my map. It could end up changing.
Oh yeah, 8.5 now.
Oh!
Caution! Connor Darnell is showing that number 90 machine might have had a problem out there.
Patrick, I think the game has just about to change.
What happened? I thought it said Connor Darnell went off the track. Here he goes. You think it through the caution because he went backwards? Dude.
Oh, I'm actually watching the replay right now. His car just broke loose coming off the exit of turn 2. It just like broke on him.
Upgraded Arts out there saying I ran out of talent. That might have been what happened out there. Just slid around there, and I've got to admit, it doesn't look like entirely his fault here. That car just was not going to rotate for him here, and another one falls victim to this turn. Just unable to get it. Seems everything's okay, but right here, there, where it goes backwards. And I'm starting to think that sometimes when a driver goes in reverse, that is enough to bring out the yellow flag. And you were talking about changing everything here. Remember, the top 8 drivers have not pit. Mike Leftwich has not pit either, sitting 9th. I think it was showing him about a lap down here. I don't think that is correct. I think he's still fighting around here. So we're going to see how this shuffles up the entire field. And I think, exactly. Well, I think it would be pretty silly to see Jonathan Jennings not pit here. So Hunter Simpson will follow, Andrew St. Coeur, Christopher Simon, and Kevin Thompson. Interesting to see. Gary Clune is not coming down. So Warman, Samia, and Clune now take the place of 1, 2, and 3. And I think Mike Leftwich is trying to tear around the track here. But you've got to also consider this. All the drivers that have pit are now a lap down and stuck a lap down. I mean, they would all have to stay out to get at least a lap back to get the wave around. Douglas, this might be this might change everything.
That's why when a caution comes out, especially during green flag pit stops, it becomes a mess. I've seen it happen before, and when it happens, it changes the game, and sometimes it turns out to be a mess. So we'll just have to see how this turns out.
All right, a couple of drivers reconsidering, coming back down, trying to see if they can stretch that fuel mileage. Just one more. Warman, Samia, Clune working their way down. Mike Leftwich is now working his way down. Couple other drivers. Tim Henderson, I don't know if he is fighting some damage out there. His last pit stop was a little bit lengthy there with a 23.77. And Tyler Mollett in the 94 Mountain Dew machine. He is back down pit road. See if we can get this squared away here. Interesting to see him throw on a set of tires. Jonathan Jennings still in the lead here. I think it'd be great if they tried to put Jonathan Jennings in the back of one of these packs and see if we can watch him floss through. We've seen it before. Andrew St. Coeur is able to scurry away in some races while Jonathan Jennings spends most of his time trying to run him down. St. Coeur now will be starting 3rd here in the front once these guys get pushed around. That have originally been a lap down. It looks like they've got a slew of cars in front of them here. Where Jonathan Jennings in front. So a lot of drivers, I believe at least, that looks like 2, 4, 6 drivers should get the wave around here and get us back underway. Fortunately, Douglas, no choose cone here.
Wow, that really changes up the game with no choose count. So whatever lane you get is what you get.
Yeah, I believe the front row, they are allowed to choose inside or outside. After that, the rear rows remain the same. So this is going to, we're going to see how this goes. They were saying out there that that last caution there, Connor Darnell, he had been fighting some damage here tonight. As they get this one going here, looks like, yep, everybody working their way around, getting back up to speed and back onto the lead lap here. Beck is flying around, Wilkerson working his way around Gentry, McMahon, Nicholas Atwood. So these guys are cooking on around the track, and I think Tim Henderson might have been one of them. I'm not 110% sure here, as he's working his way around in the number 4 machine. Trying to see if I can find out where that number 4 is. Yep, he's going to be the first one to catch back up to the rear bumper of the 60 machine of Michael Leftwich when they get up to the front here. And I know a couple of drivers definitely not ready to get back under green, but not take the punishing beating that they've been getting this entire race. Has the adjustments these guys have made down pit road, will it affect the remainder of this race? As they continue pacing here, pace car lights are still on. We're going to head around one more time here, I believe, and then we'll be back underway. St. Coeur has got a buddy behind him, a good friend in need indeed. Right now, Kevin Thompson in the 21 Ford will be starting behind Andrew St. Coeur in the 12. But that outside line is going to be looking pretty tough with the 27 of Christopher Simon, and that's going to be wild here as Eric Warman sitting in there in the 113 Chevrolet right behind him. But I'm interested to see what does Hunter Simpson have up his sleeve, if anything, to figure out how to slow down Jonathan Jennings on this restart.
Yeah, and definitely Jonathan Jennings has been the guy to beat. He's been the guy to beat since the start of the race. So now with a new second place guy in Hunter Simpson, now currently sitting in second place, and with green flag pit stops pretty much being over with, it's going to be interesting to see what Hunter Simpson and the rest of these guys we haven't seen up front yet, we get to see what they get to do now.
Pace car lights are still on as we're rolling through lap 55 of 120, almost to that halfway point here of the race, as Jonathan Jennings with an 8-second lead has been wiped clean. And he's going to have to go ahead and try to redo that one more time. I'm sure if he can do it once, he can do it again. Single file here through the first 3, Jennings, Simpson, St. Coeur. So where does Jennings decide to go? I would expect outside line start for him. He's going to get a very good start, a roll through, and actually swing down into the turn, as Hunter Simpson will have to check up to make that turn, and that looks like that will be exactly what he's going to do. Andrew St. Coeur, I believe, will have to line up onto the bottom row, allowing Christopher Simon in the 27 Toyota to line up in the second row. But man, we will be back under green on lap 57. Drivers going at it here. Jennings and Simpson, St. Coeur and Simon, Kevin Thompson and Warman, Samia Clune, Mike Leftwich, and Joey Beck to round out the top 10. Still taking a peek from the outside looking in, Daniel Wilkerson, Bill Gentry, Justin McMahon after the early spin out, and Nicholas Atwood are our guys here onto the lead lap. After that, we start heading into Tim Henderson, who's, I believe, down about 2 laps there and beyond. Steve Wanamo doing behind as well. Mollett and Powell down 4, and then I've got at least, believe, 3 drivers that are out of this one right now. Connor Darnell, Michael Giberson, and Colt Curry. They were not able to finish the race here tonight. Down to the garage. So Jonathan Jennings going to take us to another restart. I'm sure it'll be fantastic as always, but a new set of tires can trip some of these guys up. So let's find out what gear he decides to start out in and get back underway here. This should be a great run here. Looking to see if that 91 machine can get broken away here from the number 5. Let's ride along here. Kevin Thompson looking forward. Look how far he gets away. Jonathan Jennings with an excellent jump here. What a move heading into turn 1. About 4 car lengths ahead. The 91 Chevrolet gets broken away here. And it really, Douglas, I'm telling you, man, that's exactly what you want to see on a start like that.
Most definitely, but you can't count out Andrew St. Coeur, who is right now passing him for the lead. Very good run by St. Coeur. And here comes Christopher Simon. Christopher Simon going right for second, makes it stick, so he goes to the number 2 spot. But here comes Jennings right now, fighting back. Jennings with a big, humongous amount of momentum. Jonathan Jennings will go back to spot number 2.
Yeah, great job there by Christopher Simon. You saw the 91 think about coming down, but then he noticed the spotter said the 27's on the bottom. I don't think they expected that. So a little nudge here, pretty close for Hunter Simpson, getting close to Christopher Simon, kind of imposing his will, pushing him up the track a little bit, and now he's able to work down to third. Kevin Thompson trying to follow the number 5 here. 5 trying to squeak away. Don't want to count on Samia. Samia is doing some work there on the 13 machine there of Eric Warman. But I've got to admit, a new leader of Andrew St. Coeur is, I'm hoping, I guarantee he's got the pedal to the metal here, taking a look back off the back of his car. Jennings will be coming on strong. So right now, Andrew St. Coeur may have made an adjustment that may help him win this race. But does he have the tires to outlast Jonathan Jennings the way he was racing last time? Okay, Doggy out there in the chat saying, hello, boys. Appreciate you joining us here tonight as we get back under green. One caution here tonight, that back on, I believe, lap 52. As drivers are trying to battle back on, we get back underway lap 57. 58, actually, I believe, was where we had a little trouble there in the back from Nicholas Atwood. He actually fell off the track there for just a moment. And the only caution tonight was the 90 Chevrolet of Connor Darnell. Battle for the lead, I think, getting ready to heat up here pretty soon, as Andrew St. Coeur has almost a matching paint scheme car behind him of the yellow and black, trying to run him down here. Right now, this is looking pretty good, but Andrew St. Coeur running the fastest laps here of the night with a 34.50 on his last lap, trying to see if he can stay out front, but that is going to be undone here, Douglas, as we are watching Andrew St. Coeur with a 35.01, Jonathan Jennings with a 34.79. So now he's starting to pour on the coal, and I think St. Coeur might be in trouble.
Oh, yep. Oh, we got a yellow out on the track.
Kevin Powell showing a yellow flag here for Kevin Powell in the 93 Chevrolet, as the pace car seems to be asleep, working his way out on the track. What in the world happened here? Uh-oh. I think what bothers me here on this one is what happens before. I'm trying to see when somebody blinks. Who was that? Was that the 6 of Joey Beck? Yeah, I think Beck blinked. And Powell's into the wall.
I'm actually watching the cockpit view of Kevin Powell's car. It looks like when he just caught the wall, it looks like the car lost power.
What in the world is going on here? Bill Gentry showing he crashed while we were under caution.
I think Kevin Powell may have lost power to his car, because I see his tachometer right now spazzing out.
Let's see if we can take a ride along with him here and figure out what in the world's going on. You know, this almost seems like a disconnect. Like we've lost the monitor or something. He is turning to the right to hit the wall to stay out of everybody's way. Something's happened.
And also, while we were actually not looking, while we were focusing on Kevin Powell, I actually just noticed too, we also lost Joey Beck in the 6.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I was wondering if that blinked at the exact same time when Kevin Powell was into the wall. If there's some trouble. Bill Gentry looked like he had some trouble while we were under caution, slung up the track. Might have been a little out of shape here. Not quite sure what happened. Huh.
Patrick, I will admit, we have been seeing some weird occurrences lately happening in iRacing, because when we were doing the Graceland Shootout Series on Tuesday, we actually witnessed a couple incidents when netcodes were becoming an incident, but tonight we're seeing completely different issues.
Yeah, Justin McMahon actually is sitting down pit road as well. He's got some damage to the right front of his machine here, trying to get it hammered out as he spends over a minute in his pit box. Here we go. Trying to get that thing squared away a bit as he gets back out onto the track. Would like to know if anything included Justin McMahon here during the caution. There's something going on here as he has suffered a bunch of right front damage. That's them passing Powell. Nothing here from that drone footage. I think he's just fighting even more damage that he started with earlier in the race. Yeah, something getting a little weird out here. Now, if you kind of think about it, there was an update right before we loaded in here for a couple of the tracks and for a couple of the cars out here. I'm just wondering if any of them are kind of giving them some problems out here tonight. We are at our second caution here of the night. See if we can fight this one back. About lap 60 is when our caution came out, 60-61, depending on where you were on the track. Andrew St. Coeur still remains in the lead. Jonathan Jennings is going to try to hold him down. But I like some of the pit calls from some of the drivers out here, especially from Eric Warman on back. Warman, Wilkerson, Samia, Atwood, McMahon, Leftwich, Gentry. These guys all came down on laps 62, 63, and some actually revisiting again. McMahon and Samia working their way back down pit here again. I'm assuming the 24 machine is going to try to hammer out some more of the dents and get back out there if he hasn't already. This is definitely a headache here for McMahon, as he is still trying to figure out how to get that car squared away. He's just now entering his pit box. Man, this is going to be a long road ahead here if you are a Justin McMahon fan out there. He has been battling trouble since lap 3 when he slung off the track into the inside line. So he didn't even get less than 5 minutes out on the track before they kind of smacking each other around.
Yeah, I mean, basically, and I'm also witnessing, because, I mean, basically, if you're someone like Mike Samia or Justin McMahon, who's currently running mid-pack, I mean, these guys basically had nothing to lose because they were running mid-pack, so they were probably just coming off and topping off with the fuel to take advantage. So you never know. It might be a strategy call, may play out in the race, but I think they were just trying to take advantage by just getting more fuel.
Yeah, I like the idea, you know, if they're able to squeeze it just a little bit farther, come down for fuel and a go. Drivers getting ready to get back under green here. Broken over the halfway point. We'll be starting on lap 66, and St. Coeur, like they're standing still, pulls away here, and that's exactly what he needs to do, is he has got to get away. And he is separated somewhere between 8 car lengths behind is right now Christopher Simon, who's hanging out on that on the outside line, as the 27 Toyota trying to run down Jonathan Jennings. Now, where's Kevin Thompson coming to play that 21 machine? Taking a peek on the inside, now back to the outside as the 27 undercuts. So Kevin Thompson saw what was happening, has moved to the outside, and everybody is going to be chasing that number 12 lead car out there, as he seems to be the rabbit in this race.
Only the rabbit in this race indeed, and right now we're seeing a battle for spot number 3 between Christopher Simon and 21 of Kevin Thompson. That settled out, so Kevin Thompson will settle back into spot number 3. We got a battle currently going on for spot number 5 between Eric Warman and Gary Kloon. We're right now trying to make some noise, so a little battle there, but otherwise, looks like everybody is straightening back out right now.
Yeah, Kloon riding the outside as Warman's taking a look here on the inside. No can do. Looks like Kloon's going to hold him off for now, but right now, Warman's not taking anything there. He was thinking about to get a nice breath of fresh air there on the inside, but he decides to tuck back in and use the draft to his advantage. St. Coeur's out there by over a second on this lead, but don't count that away as Jennings is still laying down some blistering times. 34.54 was his last time, and right now matched through turn 1 and 2 with a 17.55 out of both our leader and Jonathan Jennings. So St. Coeur has definitely found out what he needs to do to keep going here and staying fast. But how long, as Jennings shaves off another 0.3 here, down to 0.6 seconds. So this is looking pretty tough out here. K-Doggy and Thomas S. out there are saying iRacing servers have been weird today, even having ping issues and wheel disconnect issues. Could you imagine being a real driver and having a wheel disconnect issue?
I can only imagine. I've never experienced such a thing, and I don't want to start experiencing such a thing.
Well, that's definitely what happens when the quick disconnect comes off the steering gear there. All right, let's get back on it here. Gary Kloon still under fire here by the 13 machine. We'll pop up and take a look at Jonathan Jennings when he reels him in just a little bit closer. In a couple of laps, we may take a look at the lead, but this is the battle for 5th. 13 machine on the inside, seeing if he can get the 11 behind him. He's only got him by a half a car, but not so fast. Clune, excellent turn exit here. He's going to be able to rotate on through, clears him, but the 13 is going to try to get another run in between 3 and 4. So right now the Mechanics Wear Ford of Gary Clune is trying his best to keep the outside lane alive. As the rubber is tacked up, he's able to get plenty of turn exit here, and watch the speed difference. Right now, Clune able to keep that half car length, but still, once again, unable to rotate down and through the turn as Gary Clune is still under fire by Eric Warman here, and this is really a great part of the race.
Yes, most definitely. And keep an eye on the driver who is currently catching them right now in spot number 7. That is Justin McMahon, coming back from a great rebound, trying to crack the top 5 if possible. So great rebound by Justin McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon is still flossing on through. Right now, St. Coeur might be under a little bit of trouble here. Guess who's caught him? The 91 machine of Jonathan Jennings, seeing if he is going to slide around him here. No can do, but Jonathan Jennings has actually been backing up his turns a good bit here to get a fantastic turn exit. So far, right now, Andrew St. Coeur has a good pull through and in, but right now it looks like Jonathan Jennings has the follow through on the way out. So where is the difference between these two drivers? It's turn number 3 and 4. Jonathan Jennings has been consistently at least a tenth of a second faster than Andrew St. Coeur that he's following along here. So right now, nothing yet out of 1 and 2. 3 and 4 of Kevin Thompson with Christopher Simon. Nothing going on there. Means we still have Clune, again, under fire, unable to get away here. Outside line, as we saw these two battling, the 13 and the 11 going at it. But I've got it, you were talking about, the bounce back has moved back up to 5th. Justin McMahon slung by both of them there, and now he is up into the top 5 trying to run down Christopher Simon and Kevin Thompson. But he's got to make up almost a second between the two of them to catch up to that next pack. So right now, I believe a battle for the lead has concluded here. I believe Jonathan Jennings has overtaken for the lead here, and I'll see if we can find a little something going on of where Jennings did pass him. Let's see a quick replay here as we were back there watching Clune. It's a quick little backup, 91 with an excellent turn exit here, and here he comes. That's exactly the slingshot we expected. 91 machine on the inside, and Andrew St. Coeur will now be chased. So bad turn entry there, yuck. Yeah,
But
3 and 4 was the rough one.
I will tell you this right now. As we're keeping an eye on the top 2, I also do want to make note, that time around, Justin McMahon was the one who actually ran the fastest lap. He is running probably a whole second faster than our 2 leaders right now.
Wow, that he is with a 34.84. Wow, yeah, he is the fastest here in the top 10, bar none. Right now, he's still going on here. He'll catch up to Christopher Simon here in just a moment. But we've got back under caution as Tyler Mollett and Nicholas Atwood. Something's happened here in the back of the field. Mollett is against the wall. Atwood, there he goes. He's getting straightened back out. I don't know if we got a broken piece of suspension, but Atwood unable to get this thing going again.
Viewing the replay right now, it looks like Nicholas Atwood's car completely broke left, and he was just trying to retain it. So once again, another car that just broke loose coming off the exit of 2.
Oh, back up the track. You hate to see it because that really did, kind of get jammed up there. Tyler Mollett really didn't have anywhere to go. Yeah, and some hot tires here. The 19 just ain't able to get any kind of traction here. Man.
Just hate it when that happens.
Yeah. I don't know if that 100% if I know who that is. I think that's Sasquatch on the hood of his car there on the 19. So right now he's going to be heading down pit, I'm sure, here pretty soon. Oh, actually he's not. He's staying out. Jennings, McMahon, Kevin Thompson, Christopher Simon, Andrew St. Coeur, Clune, Samia, and Warman down pit. That leaves Wilkerson, Bill Gentry, Mike Leftwich, and Nicholas Atwood staying out there onto the track. We'll see if the other guys decide to come down pit and put Jennings and Kevin Thompson back into the front. So now we'll see if that's going to be an occurrence here, going for from here. But as these drivers are working their way through the caution, we're going to cut over to commercial, and we'll be right back after those shout-outs from our sponsors. The Doghouse Cup Series is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's is today's all-American kitchen that is open for daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Shoney's guests can count on quality, delicious food along with warm, friendly service. Stop by one of the West Virginia locations to try their freshly prepared legendary breakfast bar, and don't forget to take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. All right, we are back. Appreciate you guys hanging out. From a shout out from our sponsors. Pace car lights are off, but the woes continue for some of the drivers out there. And Douglas will also give you an update.
Yes, I will give you guys an update on another occurrence that's going on, and that is with the 12 car of Andrew St. Coeur. Andrew actually just came on the messaging system, and it looks like he has lost all of his sound to his system. So Andrew St. Coeur right now struggling with no sound, has no way to communicate with anybody or anything. So more problems occurring for tonight's race.
Yeah, somebody who doesn't seem to be struggling at all is Jonathan Jennings. Seems everything's to be working perfectly fine for him, not for many of his teammates out there. Pace car is ducking on off as drivers who did not pit, Gentry, Wilkerson, out there since lap 62 and 63. They're going to be taking us to the green flag here as Daniel Wilkerson getting a lead lap out in front. Yes, he is, as Bill Gentry will be following along, and we'll see how this goes as 3 wide as Jonathan Jennings shoots right up the gut. Right, and we're taking a look here at Kevin Thompson on the outside in the number 21. Watch the follow-through. We're going to see if Andrew St. Coeur can pull through the pile as well. 91 machine on the very bottom. Now, it's interesting to see Kevin Thompson not trying to push him almost into the grass. Last thing you want to do is give that 91 the preferred line. Wilkerson enjoying about that half-second lead for now, but I think the tires are going to kick in, and he's going to notice he might have had to come down for a set of tires. So moving on through, it looks like Jennings has made that breakaway that he's looking for. Andrew St. Coeur looking on the inside of Thompson, decides better not to. But Justin McMahon, I'm waiting to see if McMahon can floss through this one. 34 machine to his outside of Gentry in the rear view now. Continuing on, he'll be chasing Mike Samia next, and this is his way to break back into the top 5. So this is looking pretty solid here, especially with so many drivers really having everything against them here tonight.
Yes, most definitely. And Justin McMahon did spend a little bit more time on pit road, probably just trying to fix more of the damage from that earlier incident at the beginning of the race. But right now he's wasting no time at all as he's giving the back bumper to Michael Samia. He wants Samia to move. I think Justin McMahon, he's on a mission to get back to the front.
Yeah, whatever adjustment Justin McMahon made, I'm hoping he can keep it going. Bill Gentry into the grass. Here we go. Will this bring out a caution? No caution. So let's get back to it here as Jennings all over Daniel Wilkerson. He's going to say, excuse me, buddy. Around he's going to go. So right now, Loud Pedal Racing will be down in the second as Twisted Axel's going to try to push on through as well. Kevin Thompson, Andrew St. Coeur trying to reel him in. And Justin McMahon, fastest on the track between 3 and 4 with a 16:99. So still on a roll here tonight. Really, what's going to slow that guy down, I think, is just his car failure. I couldn't imagine here, Douglas, if these guys had, if McMahon had not spun out, would he be hanging out there trading paint with Jonathan Jennings there in the front?
It could have definitely been a changer, but I can tell you right now, Justin McMahon is definitely a guy that you cannot sleep on. It definitely looks like, according to this track, as he is definitely making some noise tonight. He definitely didn't disappoint last week at Talladega, and he's definitely not disappointing tonight, so great job.
Oh yeah, well, he looks like he's getting ready to push it to a 3-wide condition heading here into the next turn. Backs out of it to ride behind Samia Wilkerson. Top line, letting the guys go. 24, look at this. He's got the pull on the way out. Does he put Samia in the rear view? Not yet, as Wilkerson's going to sit right to that right quarter panel there. Can't move over. Now he does. 24 machine as we are chasing along from the Michelin chopper view. Taking a look, 24 machine now to the outside here. So back up to now at least the 6th position. So the adjustment that was made, I guarantee you, when he was barking over the radio saying, hey, this car is running like garbage, he has got that thing squared up and fixed. So out there on the track, Justin McMahon has moved himself into that 6th position. Quick little update out there in the chat. Looking at Timmy Ray, he's asking, why no yellow when he hit the wall? Single car, down the grass, and he was out of the way. No one else was around. Most of these drivers are getting cautions because they're either sliding up the track into traffic, or if they made contact with another driver and involved more than one person. He was all by himself. It's really starting to head, unfortunately, to the back of the pack. It was a single car spin out and into the grass. Now, we did see him go into reverse. I would question the same thing. I thought that would have brought out another caution, which I'm sure he would have then come down to pit, since everybody else has got about a 14-lap advantage on tires, and him come back down, refreshen it up, and get back out there onto the track. Now, Douglas, we have seen how far these guys can go. 50 laps on fuel. I don't think we're going to see another pit stop here for the remainder of the night.
Probably not, and with the 2 cautions that we had, and like I told you, a caution's definitely going to take a play when it comes to these strategies, and I think we definitely seen them with the last 2. So we're probably not going to see another pit stop happen for the rest of the night unless something changes up.
All right, taking a look at the battle here for 5th, as right now the battle began and is already over. Christopher Simon going ahead and letting one of the fastest guys on the track on by. Justin McMahon, 24 Chevrolet, trying to triangulate this turn. The 27 Shoney's Toyota, trying to see if he can keep up with him here. He does put up at least a pretty decent fight. He gave up on the front stretch, but he's bringing the fight right back to him. Inside line, now Christopher Simon's got 5th, McMahon back to 5th. So we are seesawing back and forth, kind of little next-gen car shuffle here, as they're back and forth. Definitely not a shocker here for us, seeing that these two are going at it yet again here on that track. We know Christopher Simon is not a driver to be counted out here onto the track, but neither is McMahon, as he had a huge amount of momentum coming off his last win here. But notice how he's getting way loose here. And Douglas, is he pushing this car too hard, or is he just riding the line he doesn't like?
It could probably have to do with either of the options. As we see, Justin McMahon is right now running the top side, but that top side has like no grip to it. So when we see him slipping and sliding up on the track, it's just because that top lane has no grip to it. You got to stay to the bottom, or else you're going to be like you're in an oil slick.
Yep, not looking too shabby there. 30 laps left to go here in this race. Jennings out to almost a 1.5-second lead. Kevin Thompson is overtaken his teammate Andrew St. Coeur, and now we've got a battle. Oh boy, take a guess, with Justin McMahon looking for that 4th position. Right now he is the man on the move here, but is he frying these tires off too soon? I can't imagine him being able to keep up this pace for the remainder of these 30 laps. I think Jonathan Jennings might start getting nervous if McMahon doesn't show any signs of slowing here. So already on the move, McMahon was back there in the 8th, 9th position. Now he's up to 4th. Andrew St. Coeur will be his next victim. if he can reach out there and grab that Canadian. So where is he going to fall into place as we are being led once again by the 91 Chevrolet of Jonathan Jennings and the 2 Fords of Kevin Thompson and Andrew St. Coeur lining up our podium positions. 29, almost 28 laps left to go here in this race. And Douglas, if you're riding high and you're kind of, you're Justin McMahon here, are we starting to set the pace for this track, or is this, or is he you think there's a chance McMahon might slow down here?
If he wants to conserve tires, he can slow down a little bit, but with the moves that he's making and the ground that he's making up, I wouldn't want to slow down too much, because then you would have to make up all that ground in which you lost. So the line that he's currently running, I mean, he's running low on the track in some places, but yet he's running a little bit higher, probably trying not to get too much grip off of those tires. But I mean, right now, compared to Jonathan Jennings, I mean, Justin McMahon, he's only maybe a little slight bit slower compared to Jonathan Jennings, because Jennings is running a 35.01 and Justin McMahon is running a 35.18. So that's the difference between our first place guy and the guy that's on the move, Justin McMahon.
Oh yeah, McMahon seems to be stalling out just a little bit here. Got the battle box up for third. If McMahon continues to run him down 0.3 of a second, just seems to be kind of where he's locked in here. I got to admit, you come off a win, you get another top 5 the next week. I honestly, I wouldn't complain, man. I'd be so happy just to be there. But he is definitely ticking down more and more cars there. But look at that run through 1 and 2, reels him back in, and had him just about 1.5 seconds or 0.15 seconds as he heads in through 1 and 2, and he drops back down to 0.3. So entry into 1 and 2 pretty hot there, a lot hotter than he was there with St. Coeur, and that looks like he's going to be having more and more trouble figuring it out. And let's now find somebody else. Simon Warman sitting here for that 5th position. Warman on the outside, sitting 5th. He's up 12 positions here of this race. Looks like he might be knocked down to 11 as the 27 Toyota is flossing himself here on the inside. I'm interested to see. It's pretty impressive here, Douglas. I wouldn't say I'm a dirty racer, but I put a lot of pressure on other drivers the way they do me. And it's interesting to see that Christopher Simon riding this low, getting through the turns, doesn't ride him up the track. Normally, you kind of push him up the track just a little bit to get him to let off, and that'll give me my opportunity to slide on around so I'm not battling somebody for 8 to 10 laps. I mean, no contact, but you almost want to put pressure on that driver with him going, hey, man, kind of hold your line there a little bit.
Right, most definitely. And what I like Christopher Simon doing is that, yeah, he's putting pressure on him, but he's not putting too much pressure on him, it looks like, because you don't want to drift up and then the guy is beside you don't want to wreck. So Christopher Simon is right now doing good racing, but he's also doing a good job on keeping it safe as well for himself. Oh, as we got trouble here in the front, looks like Andrew St. Coeur may have gotten a little loose.
Yeah, St. Coeur shot the gap into turn 3 and 4. Tried to get in front of Kevin Thompson, and unfortunately it did not pan out. He had to back off way big time there, side by side there with Kevin Thompson. Justin McMahon was not happy about the slowdown, gave the 12 a nudge. 12 got loose, and I think right now, some of these guys are praying for that one last set of tires here in the remainder of this run. McMahon has now gotten a 3rd place. He might have a chance here at 2nd as he's going to see if he can run down Kevin Thompson here. Thompson, though, very strong during the race, and Douglas, man, this is looking pretty solid.
I will say this, though. Also, another thing, what could be slowing Justin McMahon down just a little bit is that dirty air, because he's having to pass all these cars trying to get his way towards the front to get to Jonathan Jennings. So I have a feeling dirty air is what could be playing a factor in Justin McMahon's advance right now.
Look here, right now, looks like Bill Gentry about to head down a lap as Jonathan Jennings is running into a little bit of lap traffic here. Around he goes. That means, it means only one thing. Looks like the top, I believe, 12 or 11 drivers here are still on the lead lap. 11 drivers. Stephen Buonamo is way off pace here. He's got about 28 seconds behind the lead here as Jonathan Jennings is trying to reel him in and put him in the rear view as well. So battles on the track. Really not happened for Jennings. A little trouble we thought might happen. And Kevin Thompson still can see that yellow Chevrolet way out there in the distance, but I think he might be mirror driving here for the last 20 or so laps, as this is going pretty well here for Justin McMahon. He has returned back to the position he originally started this race with an early race spin out there. For the ones just tuning in, McMahon spun out there on lap 3 with no caution. Has been fighting damage on the front of that race car all night. No fast repairs available for the 24 machine, and he is probably on his last set of tires trying to figure out how to get this car around and really starting to put some times on these drivers. Now notice how the drivers who are laps down, Bill Gentry already ducking down toward the bottom, but man, he's going to meet him at a terrible spot here. McMahon trying to hold on there on the outside, and really great job there by Gentry trying to stay down and out of the way like they asked, and that's where they're going to go. So 2.5 second gap between Kevin Thompson and Jonathan Jennings as we come to the closing laps of this race.
Definitely coming down to the closing laps, and Jonathan Jennings right now is just advancing his lead. I even think that he is right now the fastest car on the track. So it looks like, yes, he's about maybe a whole 1/10 of a second faster than the two guys right behind him. Because with these guys racing side by side and with them getting so close to each other the way they are, that's definitely something Jonathan Jennings wants to see, is these two racing side by side.
Oh yeah, somebody else who's been racing side by side there for a little bit was Gary Clune and Daniel Wilkerson. Now I've got to say, Clune did come down and pit 4 tires back on lap 76, and Daniel Wilkerson on lap 62. Wilkerson still holding his own out here for a top 10 finish. I got to admit, the consistency of Daniel Wilkerson is impeccable out there. Definitely seems to have exactly where he needs to be, kind of plan his attack here on the remainder here of this race. But that's, as the closing laps come down, it makes you think, oh man, I was up here, but maybe I should have taken my last set of tires. If he hasn't already, Wilkerson has been down pit only 2 times here tonight, so I know, well, with 3 sets of tires, he should have been able to throw on an extra set down there in the pits, but that is going to look pretty solid. His battle for second looks like Justin McMahon in the blink of an eye around Kevin Thompson here. Second place for him, and now he's going to slide on through and heading into the next turn. Right now, McMahon, there's only one car that stands between him and a win here tonight, and that's going to be Jonathan Jennings, who's been just absolutely had an absolute dominating performance here the entirety of this race.
Yes, most definitely. And I can tell you right now, with Justin McMahon finally now getting out of that dirty air, getting into spot number 2, the question now remains, does he have enough to get to Jonathan Jennings? And does he have enough time, if any time at all, to get to him with only having 15 laps to go?
Yep, and we're looking to see if Kevin Thompson has burned his tires up here, as Christopher Simon's starting to turn on the afterburners. 27 Toyota took a little look underneath of Kevin Thompson. Thompson able to pull through turn 1 and 2 and shoot down the backstretch, at least with a 1.5 car length between the two of them here. And that's looking pretty solid for the 21 CarQuest Ford, staying out front. Now, can he maintain? Can he stay out front and get a solid top 3 finish here tonight? Boy, only time will tell, as we've got 15 laps left to go here at the Wide Technology Raceway. For all the viewers out there considering coming back next week, if you like 120 laps, let's do it again for the Shoney's 180 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 120 laps on July 20th. We'll be pretty excited to bring that to you as well here at Simtrax Broadcast. And Douglas Ross, I'm sure, will be locked and loaded and excited for that race as well, because none other than an open setup league, guys with no fast repairs, and really you see commanding performances and fantastic driving out there. This is exactly what you want to see. Now let's poke back here to Gary Clune, who's under fire again here by Daniel Wilkerson. Douglas, what is it looking like? Is Wilkerson going to get him here?
It definitely is cutting it close. Daniel Wilkerson right now trying to make something happen, but I think Gary Clune may have a little bit of an advantage going down into turn number 1. Clune right now trying to ride that middle lane, trying to see if he can get a little bit of ground ahead of Daniel Wilkerson, and it looks like Clune will gain a little bit of ground going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Wilkerson looked like it may have been a frustration move there on the front stretch. You saw him kind of yank out from behind the number 11, seeing if he could get a little more little more air to the nose of that vehicle, which has now cost him a good bit of time here. Looks like the battle for that 8th place has calmed down. Mike Leftwich way back here if he wants to get catch up to Daniel Wilkerson. He's got to make up almost 7.5 seconds. But still, it's a solid top 10. Buonamo sitting 11th, and Bill Gentry is down in 12th. Right now, the only drivers on the lead lap are the top 10. Jonathan Jennings, McMahon, Thompson, Simon, Warman, St. Coeur, Samia, Clune, Daniel Wilkerson, and Mike Leftwich. As we are got 12 laps left to go, Jonathan Jennings still leading this race. And I don't think we're going to be talking to him in winner's circle here unless he has a catastrophic failure.
Yes, and I can tell you right now, not to jinx it, I'm capable of jinxing a couple of things, but the one thing Jonathan Jennings does not want to see right now is a yellow flag.
Yeah, I would question if anybody out there would consider coming back down pit. If you truly had one last set of tires here with 10 to go, it would be silly not to come down, throw on a set of tires, and get rocking and rolling again. But the time differential isn't as bad. And let's talk about Jonathan Jennings, who's been leading this race. His best time was a 34.54. His last time was a 35.42. So he's fallen out just about a second here. And the last time he pit was back on lap 76. So we're almost a solid 30-some-odd laps on these tires for Jonathan Jennings here. So the little shuffle up that we're seeing here is pretty wild here. McMahon actually was down pit road for 50 seconds. He's been down pit road at least 4 times, trying to hammer out most of the dents. And I bet he's wishing he had no damage here, because I think he might be able to run him down a lot easier if he wasn't catching so much air from a bent hood and a right front fender damage.
Most definitely, and looks like Jonathan Jennings may have gained a little bit of ground, but not much of ground. He's just trying to run his line as much as he can. But as of right now, while we're doing that, let's go through the top 5 for those of you that are watching at home. Jonathan Jennings is currently our leader. Justin McMahon is running 2nd. Kevin Thompson's running 3rd. Christopher Simon's running 4th, and Eric Warman is rounding out the top 5. Andrew St. Coeur will be in spot number 6. Michael Samia in spot number 7. Spot number 8 is Gary Clune. Daniel Wilkerson is in spot number 9, and rounding out the top 10 will be Mike Leftwich.
Yeah, so many drivers kind of wishing they could redo this race. One of them may be Hunter Simpson out there in the Target Chevrolet number 5 we see out there. He's having definitely some trouble out there on the track. I don't know if he had a disconnect problem or something ruined here. He came back down pit. It looks like he's working his way around the track a lot slower. I think he's just trying to stay out of the way. I don't know what exactly happened to Hunter Simpson. Tyler Millette had a problem, and drivers down for the count in the garage. Tim Henderson, Joey Beck, Kevin Powell, Connor Darnell, and Michael Giberson. Those drivers have all taken it to the garage for tonight, and they will get themselves locked and loaded there for Las Vegas, as that's where they're going to be next week for the Shoney's 180 guys. And I know we are kind of boiling this down to the very last few laps, only about 7 laps left to go. Taking a look out there in the chat, Timmy, you're killing me, my man. We cannot groove the tires here on asphalt. The only time any sort of grooved tires we've ever seen, I believe, Douglas, correct me if I'm wrong, is more of an Xfinity series, and that is a test of racing in the rain, where tail lights go on, one windshield wiper, and drivers start running more of a Michelin Hydro Edge type of tire to get most of the water off the center of the tire. And to me, every time I've seen it, it just results in guys crashing and destroying their cars.
It actually is. It's more of like an Xfinity Series thing that we kind of see from it, but I have seen it in the Camping World Truck Series a lot, and I've only seen it maybe like 2 or 3 times in the Cup Series. They tried to attempt to race in the rain, I think, in these cars at Watkins Glen, but definitely, I mean, it's definitely more of the Xfinity Series in which we see it, but rain racing, not really my thing.
Yeah, and I know the trucks, they did actually race, I believe, at Eldora. They head out to Tony Stewart's track and they go out there and try to rip it around. But most of the drivers actually carry like a little duster on the inside of the truck because they can't see out the windshield. The trucks aren't made to drift, but they I guess like Bristol Dirt and the next gen cars, I guess give the people what they want. I'm not much of a fan of that. I like sticking to the asphalt circle tracks here, but right now I'm sure Jonathan Jennings would agree with that, and kind of keep this streak alive here, as he is sitting, remember, 5th in points. This is going to definitely help him here. He has got a huge advantage here. Most laps led. He's at least led a lap. Now he's going to be winning this race here by, it looks like, almost 3 1/4 seconds, as McMahon is starting to reel him in a good bit. And out there in the chat, looks like K-Doggy out there saying the Chicago street course as well. At the start, they were running a set of groove tires. So they're testing it out, but I just don't see how you take something between 500 and 800 horsepower and tell these guys to get on an extremely slick track that you want, that's wet down with any kind of oil spray or water, and then tell them to do 180 miles an hour. It just doesn't work.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, when the trucks were actually running rain tires, I remember at Martinsville that time, I think it was, because I witnessed the Martinsville night race. And I remember, I think, a comment from Kyle Busch. He says that was probably the most grip that he's had in his truck in a while. He prefers the rain tires on regular pavement than the actual tires they use.
I wonder if they're any softer. Try to get them soft enough. And I wonder if, during the rain or during a caution, the blower trucks go out there and at least try to get it off. I don't know. I've never seen a real rain race, I guess. But taking a look at Jonathan Jennings here, and Douglas, this looks like it's all but over right now. The 91 machine keeping on going here. McMahon trying to run him down, but now to 3.5 seconds. Kevin Thompson still trying to stay out in front of Christopher Simon. Simon praying that he can get up for a podium position. But seeing the pace times now, drivers are over a second off pace. Jonathan Jennings now with a 35.64. That's at least 1.1 seconds off his pace. Kevin Thompson with a 34.67. He's now running a 35.9. And some of the other drivers here in the back, like Gary Clune back there with 35.05, is now running a 36.58. So huge drop off here. But fantastic job here by Jonathan Jennings, and the consistency. He has figured out how to get it done here at the Wide Technology Raceway as he gets the win here tonight. And really watches Justin McMahon wait for it, come on through, and see if he can cross the finish line here and get across. There we go. There's Andrew St. Coeur, 6th. Gary Clune still working around the turn. It just goes to show you how spread apart these guys are. Clune now coming out of 4.
But definitely right now, you can't take any credit away from Justin McMahon. He may have finished 2nd, but that was the rebound of a lifetime that we've seen. So credit deserved to him.
Yeah, McMahon did a fantastic job there. I'm impressed to see how well he was able to hold on and for how long, and start reeling guys in. I thought maybe he would have a huge amount of fall off, but he had enough power and enough time to fly up through the ranks here and get a 2nd place. Now, if another caution had come out, you might have been right. Jonathan Jennings may have been in some trouble, but tonight was his night, and there was absolutely no doubt about that Chevrolet Camaro got into the winner's circle here tonight with so much confidence here of him being able to sling on through. What an excellent job it was here tonight to see these guys getting it done. So, all right, we are going to take a little bit of a break here, try to run our drivers down as Jonathan Jennings tries to fry the last of his tires off here. Should be pretty easy for the burnout, because I think he's melting them down to the ground trying to get away here. Man, what a race. I know, I'm thinking some of the drivers out there are saying, Justin McMahon did a heck of a job. Well, Jonathan Jennings did a heck of a job, but everybody's saying, holy cow, can you believe Justin McMahon kind of reeling them in here and doing exactly what you said, just making it happen. All right, let's take a look and see what your 5 favorite drivers were here tonight. Jennings, McMahon, Thompson, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to have a little chat with them here in just a moment, and let's see if we can find these boys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have caught up with our third place finisher here, Kevin Thompson. And boy, oh boy, man, he had a heck of a run here tonight. The Twisted Axel Racing team comes in on a podium position. Kevin, talk to me about this wild track out here tonight.
Yeah, I'm not real good at this track. I just came in with a mindset top 5 and get some points and move on to the next week, and we did that. Car was good on the long run, but that last run, I drove the tires off trying to stay up with Jonathan. Just my right front was gone at the end of that race, and I don't know what's under the 91, but off of 2 multiple times he hit the wall. I don't see how he was still going that way he was going. But other than that, I'll take a top 3.
Man, yeah, tough driving out here. Would you kind of compare this? I always compare this track to more of a Darlington shape with a New Hampshire feel. You know, it's just so flat, but then the egg shape out there. You know, where was a strong place to be out there on the track where everybody felt confident racing around each other?
And the 1, it was like middle, and then 3 and 4 bottom and middle. But other than that, just watch out. People getting loose off of turn 2 and 4.
Many electrical and performance problems out there tonight for some of the drivers. Andrew St. Coeur, one of your teammates, ended up in a little bit of trouble tonight. Did you come out unscathed? No issues from you in iRacing?
No, I came out clean. I didn't have no problems with iRacing tonight.
Alrighty, man. Well, we'll get you ready for Las Vegas next week. Give me shout-outs.
Shout out to Daniel for Fitness On. Y'all calling the broadcast of my family and my teammates.
All right, Kevin Thompson, appreciate you joining us, man, and we'll hopefully we'll catch you in a podium position next week.
Yep. See you.
Alrighty. That's going to do it here for Kevin Thompson. Moving on along here to Justin McMahon, our second place finisher here tonight, and this was probably one of the most amazing comebacks I've seen in a long time. Douglas, you know what? You go ahead and have a chat here with Justin. I know you're excited about this one.
Sure, thank you. And Justin, I will actually agree. This was probably the comeback that I have never seen before when it comes to racing. You wrecked on lap 2. It was in the back of the field for most of the race, and just to rebound to spot number 2 is absolutely amazing. I just got to ask you, how did you do it?
Geez, I don't know. I think those cautions had a lot to come into play with that. Kind of put us back into cycle. They just fell in the right time and put us back in cycle. I was lucky enough to not get a whole lot of damage on that. So I think when I was able to actually finally come down pit road there and actually get the damage repaired completely, I think I only had like 1 minute and 29 seconds of repairs. So that definitely benefited me a lot. And the car wasn't damaged enough to where I was still able to run pretty consistent lap times, I think, with the leader. And I had a pretty good car. The setup was good. And like I said, I think that the cautions just happened to fall in our lap. That kind of benefited us there. I don't know. It was a lot of fun, especially driving up through the field.
It definitely was a lot of fun, and I can tell you this: that yes, we seen 2 yellow flags tonight. Did that really affect your strategy at all throughout the race, or did it actually more benefit in your favor, like you said?
I think it benefited us there, especially, after almost wrecking on lap, I think you said lap 2. I needed a caution there really quick to try to catch back up. But I think if it went green any length of time after that first cut, I don't know if I would have been able to come back up there and battle with the leaders up there. But I don't know. I mean, it's like I think the cautions really did benefit me there to help get me back up there.
You definitely did the rebound tonight that everybody is giving you a big round of applause for. Now, heading into next week, we are heading to Las Vegas, where definitely another track can play into effect for some drivers. Tell us, what are your perspectives going into Las Vegas? How is it for you?
I like Las Vegas. It's a real fun track. Handling is definitely going to be key there, I think. It's not going to be wide open. It's a fast track, but you're not going to be able to run it wide open. got a couple different lanes you can choose from. So if, guys might build a setup that's fit for the bottom and guys might build a setup that's fit for the high line. I think depending on what guys do with that, I think the high line could benefit some people, but I've run good at Las Vegas in the past. So I think if I get my setup tuned in and get some practice in and I'm able to make it, I think I should be able to compete for at least a top 5 finish, I think.
Well, we'd definitely like to see you run up front again next week. Justin, give us your shout-outs.
I just want to give a shout out to, actually, first off, I just want to give a huge shout out to the state of Vermont for all their emergency personnel and firefighters and everyone that's been dealing with getting the flooding getting the flooding situation dealt with up here. There's been a lot of bad damage in our area up here, so I want to give a huge shout out to the guys that are helping get stuff back in line. It's another bad flood like we had in 2011 from Hurricane Irene. A lot of people are dealing with that right now. Luckily, our area wasn't hit, and also I want to give a huge shout out to the Rutland City Police Department. Here last Friday we had a 19-year-old police officer that was 3 months in get killed in a high-speed chase. So want to let people know that we're thinking of their family and friends, and we're staying strong for those guys. And huge shout out to Nate at Group 6 for the sponsor on the car, and Daniel for doing the league, and for you guys doing the broadcast. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
And thank you. Justin McMahon, congratulations on your second place finish. And Patrick, I will take it over to you.
All right, appreciate it, man. I think that's who Creamers 4 is out there, saying hell of a race considering the early damage, Justin. And that is coming from Nate out there in the chat. Man, congratulations, Justin. We'll catch you next week.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep. All righty, let's go ahead and get to our race winner, which once again, I'm going to try one more time to ask him what he did underneath the hood of that car, and I guarantee he's going to tell me it wasn't underneath the hood. It was probably in the rear end of the car. Jonathan Jennings in the 91 Caterpillar Chevrolet out here tonight. Another win here tonight for Jonathan Jennings. Now, talk to me here, man. This race was all you all night. Couple of tumble ups, couple of rundowns there, but just didn't seem to matter at all for you here at all, during any part of this race.
It got tough there for a few minutes, but I practiced a ton after being gone for a couple weeks. You get a little rusty, so I had to practice quite a bit to get the feel of it again.
Top 5 in points. Now we have a win under our belt. This may slide you up a couple more spots. Las Vegas is next week. I mean, are we going to see the 91 Chevrolet with another podium finish, or is this a track that you just don't feel confident at?
I don't know. With this car in a mile and a half, it's anybody's really. I was good last time we were here, but I made some mistakes and it cost me, and I won't make the same mistake again. I know that.
I know some cautions and some electrical performance problems has taken out some of your race team here tonight. Loud Pedal Racing and the Elite Southern Motorsports team did get a pretty big hit here tonight. Kevin Powell dropping out, Tyler Millette having some trouble out there as well. And you guys were able to bounce back and still do a fantastic job here tonight. I'm going to try one more time here, Jonathan. What adjustment made it work tonight? What was it that made this car just so fast?
Adjusting to the track conditions, really. I didn't make no changes during the race. Last night I did a session of practice, and I set the track state at 50%, and I loaded in tonight, and it's exactly the same. And that helped a ton. So I kind of had an idea of how the race was gonna go as far as the track went, but just making sure I didn't overdrive, and it's so easy to lose your rear end on entry.
Oh, no, you're not getting away like that. When you're setting up the car for this race, I mean, Jonathan, you were ahead by almost 8 seconds without a caution. There's an adjustment you're making to this car. When you set the car up, when you head out onto the track, what is the first thing you dial in?
The gear.
Gearing.
Gearing. Yep. I had 2 to 3 gears. That was a possibility, and they were all different. Like I was running 5th on the straights tonight, shifting to 4th, and I had another one to where I'd run 4th all the way around and shift to 3rd and 1 and 2. But
Yeah,
depending
okay.
on how hot the track was, that's why I went with the one I went with.
Okay. Yeah, we rode along with you, and we did notice some 5th gear shifting, which is quite unusual for you. You don't really do that, but I think that would probably be what would have equated to your fuel mileage here tonight, seeing how far you were able to stretch it. Unfortunately, before an untimely caution that came out around that lap 50 mark, and then another one around the 60 mark. Boy, really, it was an awesome job here tonight. Jonathan Jennings, give me your shout-outs, man. You really command and conquered here at the Wide Technology Raceway.
Thank you. You guys for the broadcast, Daniel and all the admins for the races every week. My teammates, unfortunately, they had issues, and Shoney's and Next Level for the sponsorship, so we can keep enjoying doing this.
Alrighty, Jonathan Jennings, congratulations on your win, and I fully expect to be talking with you next week.
Hopefully.
Well, an untimely caution putting you a lap down if you decide to pit, oddball. That's, I think, what broke some of your drivers out there tonight, like Hunter Simpson and Buonamo and guys like that. Just the untimely caution, man, shuffled them up. But congratulations on your win, man. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us here at Douglas, as we see Jonathan Jennings getting away with another amazing win here tonight. I'm always interested to see what else he's got in store each and every week, but I keep poking. I don't think he wants to give away every one of his secrets here for how fast he gets, but gearing is 100% exactly what you want to do, is get that car and the engine running right, and then we'll deal with the suspension after that once you enjoy the power that you can receive, and then you can plant it. So, Douglas, give me your last final thoughts here at the end of this one.
Definitely, it was a wild ride. Jonathan Jennings definitely conquered the show, and Justin McMahon was probably one of the talks of the night, definitely with his big rebound. And Las Vegas is next week. We get to see more excitement happen next week.
Yeah, I can't wait to be there for the Shoney's 180 out there. Guys, appreciate you joining us here at SimTrax Broadcasting, bringing you the Doghouse Racing League on Thursday night. Hopefully we'll be picking up a couple more leagues here, and then we can really juice it up here over at SimTrax Broadcasting, and we'll come to you live with all those streams as well. But from all of us here at SimTrax, Patrick Morrison here in the booth with Douglas Ross Jr. Be well, be safe, be kind, and we'll catch you guys next time.